to Chess for Sleep. So, I haven't posted in a while because, yeah, sadly, our dog actually got diagnosed with a tumor on his spine, and we've been trying to figure out how to help him during this time, and it's been tough. So, I haven't really had a lot of time to record, but I have been playing some Blitz in the meantime, and I'm happy to report that I actually broke 2,000 for the first time, which is really exciting. So, I'm going to show you the game that I actually broke 2,000 with. So, yeah, I was extremely nervous going into this game. I woke up this morning, I was at 1980, and I just said, I'm going to give it my best shot. Won a couple games, got to 1993, and I knew that next game was going to be to break 2,000. So, but I was so nervous, and you're going to see that this game did not go well as a result. We get d4, d5. I go for the c5 line. I'm basically just looking to exchange here and get into, what's likely going to be an exchange Slav, which is ultimately what happens. Go for the Slav exchange and play knight c6. We get some standard theory here from both sides. He actually closes in his bishop, as you can see, which is good for me. I play perfectly fine opening. I have a perfectly good position. Castles. And here I play rook c8. Again, all logical. Castles. And the computer here likes b5, which makes a lot of sense because he can never play a4 here. Because I'm simply winning. I'm taking b5 with my knight. So b5 makes a lot of sense. I played queen e7, which is the start of kind of me going astray in this game because I'm not exactly sure what the queen is doing there. But nonetheless, I go for queen e7. He plays the rook to the c file. Computer likes queen c7 or rook c7, just doubling up, which I do play. Now knight a4, and here I should have just continued doubling up, which was my plan. I guess I was just worried, if I double up knight c5, what exactly am I doing about this knight if I can't push it away with b6? The answer is I can just ignore it for now, and go h6 myself, and he can double himself. I can actually undermine the knight with a5, b5. b6 is a nice move here. Eventually you get this. Look at this. Wow. Knight b4. What a move. Holy crap, what a move. And this is good for black. Did not see any of that. I'll need to remember that for next time. Unfortunately, I just simply played knight a7 here. Coming all the way back after knight a4, I played knight a7, and this is not good. Simply allowing white to bring another rook to the c file after trading. He actually brings his knight in, and it allows me to continue to double. But here I play knight b5, and I don't know what knight b5 is doing. I have no idea why the knight is there. All these squares are defended. I'm not sure why I played that, but I did. So he plays rook c2, and again I can just double here. But again, I'm a little worried about what's going to happen after that, and this knight can just jump at any time, and so I just kind of panic and I take. And this is a terrible idea, and you can quickly see that he's got these pawns. a4 is going to hit and drive my knight away. Where's the knight going? It's a major problem. So I bring my other rook behind the pawn. I don't know why. I'm just starting to realize that my chance to break 2,000 is going down the drain, so I'm flailing. Some of you might kind of know the feeling. You're about to break that important barrier, and you just feel that game slipping away. So he actually plays bishop here, which isn't the best. I can play rook d7. Instead, I play the rook here. Again, I don't know why the rooks are doing, on this file. A4 is just really devastating now because I have to bring the knight to a7. Yeah, can't do this. I mean, yeah, this is just terrible. It's coming in. He's eventually going to come in with his pawns, and it's going to be over. b5's going to hit. So, very, very bad stuff. But, yeah, he goes knight d4 here, which is helpful because I do want to trade this knight. So I'm kind of back in the game here. I can go knight d7, which I do, to hit the bishop. Brings the bishop back. After knight b6, I can actually bring the knight in here. That's a nice idea, using the pin. I don't see that. Again, I'm flailing. Instead, I try and break through here, which isn't helping, because now, yeah, look at these. I mean, yeah, these pawns, 3-on-1. That's a problem. I'm still kind of holding on according to the engine, but yeah, knight f6, I don't really know what I'm doing. I bring the knight to e4. Now immediately kicking it with f3 is good. Instead, he doubles up first. Maybe an idea of eventually taking here with my queen undefended. I see that idea. I'm also coming over to defend this pawn, and maybe go. Yeah, maybe I want to trade off the queens. But now I have to bring my knight back to f6, and now after this, obviously my king is open. He still has this 3-on-1, and it's just not good. I'm not going to be able to get my pawns going in the center. So here he's attacking my pawn. I defend it. Immediate g4 was good. Instead, he brings his queen in. And I'm just getting my queen back over here to defend, but I know I'm losing. I am lost. g4 is good for him. Again, I'm just trying to trade off queens. The queen trade is totally winning for him because he can simply do this, and yeah. I mean, this is just very easily winning. I mean, yeah, this is... And the 3-on-1, I mean, this is totally lost. So he could have just traded into the end game, and it's just over. But he didn't. He left me in the game. So after this, he doesn't take. Instead, he's thinking about mating me on h7, or down the g file here on g7. So I'm trying to, again, I want to trade, which is lost. Not quite as bad, perhaps, but still. Again, he doesn't want to trade queens. He wants to mate me. I take. He actually brings his rook to come down the g file, which I think maybe isn't quite as bad for me, because maybe I'm getting trades down the g file with his king as well on the g file. And yeah, so I clear out the g file for my pieces. And yeah, here f6 makes sense. Maybe making room for f7 for my queen to come in and be defending. I defend and also, to be clear, what f6 is doing is defending this check, which is immediately winning. That's the most important thing. So I did see that, and I need to defend this check, and I defended it with queen e7. So yeah, I just hung my queen. Again, I'm flailing, I'm nervous, and when I played this, I knew immediately my queen was undefended, and it's over. Breaking 2000 is going to have to be at a later date, maybe later that day, but, it's not going to be this game. But he did not see it. He's just totally focused on mating me. And, yeah, so I'm in the game, and you can see actually after rook g8, I'm not as totally losing as I could have been. So he clears out the g file to bring in the other rook. Now I trade, and yeah, he opens the h file, and he just wants to mate me on h7. Again, I'm bringing my rook back to try and defend. He wants to mate me here. This time I do play f6, and I'm defending h7. And now here, this is, according to the computer, is just the pure loss of a pawn. I can simply take that. Of course, I really have nothing else, so I do take it. Now he just wants to win the pawn again, but now I'm just defending it with rook g8. And this is actually equal. And I'm actually up a pawn now. He still has this 3-on-1, but his king is totally open, and this will be a perpetual. So he tries to use this pawn, his passed pawn here, and I'm flailing. I just want to get to an in-game and try and hold the in-game. I like in-games. But this is totally lost because after the trades, he's going to go a4, b5, and just have passers that are going to win the game. But he doesn't do that because I have a hanging pawn, and taking that is also appealing. But the problem here is he still has this open king. And I see that, and now I'm thinking perpetual. Like, I just want to perpetual and draw this game and then try and break 2,000 on the next game. So, yeah, I go queen b2. And, yeah, he could have played queen e2 here and basically, in the hope of the perpetual. And he has these pawns, and he's eventually going to win. I can't trade because that'll be the same idea with the winning rook in game. But he just tries to dodge, and now I do find this move, queen d4, threatening king g1. And I'm now thinking, okay, I might have a perpetual here. I might be able to draw this game. He needs to play king g2 or queen e1, just something to stop the immediate perpetual. But again, if I'm pushing him back, so let's say he does this just to deal with the perpetual. Actually, let's say here. So again, covering g1. So rook f8. Actually, what about the immediate? Oh, this is winning for white. That's tough to see. But first, if you get this in, yeah, now queen f6. Just, yeah, you have to stay on the diagonal to cover your king here. But this is a perpetual, so. But no, he played queen f5 here. Again, just playing to mate me, but he's just leaving himself open here to the perpetual. So of course that was my idea, and I played it, queen g1. So I have the perpetual in hand. I know it. This has got to be a perpetual, right? I'm playing quickly. I'm down to 27 seconds, so I don't have it all calculated. But I'm like, okay, I think this is perpetual. So queen h3, and I'm just expecting queen h1, queen g1, queen h1, queen g1, perpetual, and that's the game. But he fell into a little trap here that I did not see. But the problem for him is after queen h1, well, if you go queen g3 here, I can take this rook, and low on time in a blitz game, you might instinctively not want to let your rook hang. The thing here is, this is a draw because he has rook f6, and I can't interpose with the queen. I have to interpose with the rook. And now, this is a perpetual. So he had to let his rook hang, and with the 107, he could have taken a few seconds here, knowing, if he had seen it's a perpetual otherwise, he could have calculated that this is a perpetual if he had taken a little time, but he simply maybe just didn't want to take the perpetual and just thought, oh, I'm just going to defend my rook, or maybe he thought it was still a perpetual, but at least his rook is defended. So instead he played king g4, and I in my mind, I actually didn't realize it was mate because I was like, oh, it's a perpetual, and we were playing so fast. Again, I'm flailing. In my mind, I'm just like, okay, well, I'm checking him again, and hopefully it's a perpetual. So just instinctively, I just play queen g2, and all of a sudden, it's checkmate. It's checkmate, and I'm like, I can't believe that, I won. I'm seeing it on the screen, and I'm just like, that I just won that game. That's the game I break 2,000 with. It's a cool mate here in the end with this unfortunate configuration, just defending these, and man. So that's how I broke 2,000. Not the most deserved game ever, but pretty cool nonetheless. So that's how I started the day, and I ended the day by beating a national master in rapid. So yeah, here's that game. I'll run you through that one as well. So National Master Red Brab 1, and I play the English. I've been working on my English repertoire. It's my main weapon with white now. And I go for this Botvinnik setup with c4, e4, the fianchetto, knight g2. It's an interesting opening if you like solid play. I like it compared to the London. The London is also like a solid system opening. The thing is, you don't always go for it because it's not always good. Sometimes black can get his bishop onto these dark squares and be really hitting your dark squares hard. So you don't want to go for it. So you inevitably have a little more variety into your repertoire, and sometimes you basically have to transpose to a d4 opening, which I have experience with. But you still it cuts down on some theory because you go for this kind of system a decent amount of times, but you're not always going for it. It's not like the London where you're just d4, f4, or whatever move order you're going with. So I've really been enjoying it. It's been a nice weapon for me. So I'll go through the first moves. This is all standard stuff. h3, you want to cut out knight g4, where it might harass your bishop on e3. a6 with the idea of b5. I play d3 first, rook b8. I stop his b6 idea. And now knight d4. And I know, just again, I've actually been reading Simon Williams' book on the English, the Iron English. Really good book. It's a chessable course too. And I know that this is early for this move. And often when they go for this kind of early knight plunge into d4, taking it is the right idea. And incidentally, leaving this knight here can sometimes be a tactical issue. If you go bishop e3 and queen d2, for instance, which is a very natural move, they're natural moves in this opening. Well, sometimes you can get forked here with a1 and the queen on d2, and I actually had that happen in my first over the board game using the English. I just wasn't familiar enough with the tactics, and that was pretty embarrassing. But yeah, so but here I know the right move is to take, and I take. And here you actually want to go knight d5. And yeah, knight d5, if this, then you're just taking here. And yeah, this is, this bishop, it's just biting on its pawn forever. So, but I play, again, it's been a long day, again, that emotional kind of breaking 2000, and I'm just not quite as focused as I should be, and I play this more passive knight e2. Often the knight will go to e2 in these type of positions, but here it's just more passive. So here, if you play these types of openings, b4 and f4 are just very natural moves here, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. But also bishop g5, pinning this knight and possibly even trading it off is an idea. So that's what I go for. He hits me with h6. I could take here, or I could go bishop d2. The computer likes both equally. I decided to save the bishop, the idea that I'm supporting b4. And he goes for this, and I actually, unfortunately, I knew that c takes, then the computer likes c takes, and then if b takes, you get a5, and you get this outside pass pawn. And I knew that this was like the way to go to create this outside pass pawn, because again, I've been reading Simon Williams' book. But I don't know, in the moment I just played a takes, and this is not as good because now it's very passive all of a sudden, and you actually need to go c takes here, and then yeah, here it's just very passive for you if you go for something like this. yeah, not looking good. So I played the bishop out, and I'm thinking, well, you know, eventually maybe I'm controlling the H file, or sorry, the A file, and I'm infiltrating. But after a couple more moves here, I play B3. I'm going for F4 here, but the problem is that my pieces aren't coordinated at all. I've got the bishop, I've got the rook. My position is just not coordinated, and it's not timely to play this F4 thrust. So he takes, and now knight C5, and this knight's just forever hitting this pawn. So I'm thinking, I just want to get rid of this knight. So I play here with the idea that, again, if he captures, I'm still defending the pawn, and I'm also supporting bishop e4, and I'm just getting rid of this knight. So that's what I go for. And I trade this off, and now we get this position. So here, I again, been reading these books. I understand that F5 here is very likely, the right move, and that's what I played. Again, the engine says it's best. Yeah, I'm losing, but I'm not totally getting blown off the board. And it does invite a mistake from him, and he goes G4, and now, again, with this, the king side getting closed, the problem is I'm thinking I'm kind of suited to contest kind of the queen side, and if the king side shut down, I can probably just hold this. So yeah, he shuts everything down with F6, and yeah, I find the best move here, rook B2. Again, I'm just going to double up, come down the B file, and yeah, I could have played rook A2 to hit the queen, but instead I just go here. And yeah, I'm bringing the knight back to just keep D3 defended. Yeah, so here I'm actually thinking about maybe bringing my queen in and just tripling. The legendary triple stack, as Akara would say, which actually isn't that helpful. The computer actually likes rook B4 here. Again, creating this passed pawn. If I take, pawn takes. There's all these kind of little subtleties in the English, and a lot of it's just about when to create a very effective passed pawn. So that was the idea from the computer. It's not what he goes for. And now I actually tickle him now with queen e2 with the idea that I want to come in and come into h5, hit h6, possibly queen g6, and he just parries that. And here, yeah, obvious move. Well, I want to get my bishop back into the game and potentially trade it off. Now he takes, and I play rook takes, and the problem here is queen a1 puts me under pressure. Obviously the knight's pinned, but yeah, he's actually just thinking about trading, and here I'm actually okay to just, again, go for this this bishop trade and just come in here with the idea that if I can trade this off, eventually I can just get the queen in and get a perpetual, potentially, just attacking the king over here. But yeah, instead I support, again, my idea is just to kind of hold down the fort on the queen side. Again, this idea was strong to create this passed pawn, and I basically have to take, and now this passed pawn is a threat. So we were both missing that. So, but no, he takes, I take, and now queen a1 is very powerful. So I see right away. I thought about taking with the knight here, but I was just thinking that this kind of self-pin could be a problem. In the end, it's not really, but I was just avoiding it. But now, yeah, queen a1 is a powerful move, so I have to come back and defend. And I know I'm getting hit with bishop a4, which I do, and here, yeah, I almost played queen d2, which is a very bad move, because queen c3 right away, and you can't take, because this is just totally over. And the reason it's over is, well, you have to keep this pawn under lock and key, and yeah, you can force it forward, but the problem is that eventually this bishop is going to come around and help support this pawn home. So yeah, so you can't take, and if you can't take, how do you keep the knight defended? The bishop's covering d1, so it's that's why I didn't play queen d2. I brought the queen back here, and now if you go here, at least the king can just sit here and you're defending, and this is kind of holding for now. So yeah, he goes bishop c7 here, and again queen f2 with the idea of simply bringing my king into the defense. Here queen b2 again is strong, because now I'm basically frozen. Actually wants to go king f8, and what do I even do here? I basically have to shuffle, and this isn't nice at all, to just be sitting around waiting for him to come in for the kill. But yeah, he comes in with the bishop, and he's not threatening to win this pawn, because of course I'm covering with the knight. Here again I'm happy because I can get on the second rank and defend. Now he backs up with the bishop, and here, as you can see, I have this drawing mechanism. Bishop d1 simply clears this diagonal for the queen, so the queen can come into e2, come into h5, and then g6, and then I'm eventually getting a perpetual. So yeah, but instead I go for this. I go queen or knight b3, and my idea is simply I'm hitting the knight, or I'm hitting the queen, I'm hitting this pawn, and I'm covering a5. The problem is queen c3 again is very strong, because now I have to trade. I absolutely have to trade because the knight's hanging, and if I trade, it's still, this pawn is going to be a huge problem. So I'm lost here, but he's concerned about his pawn, so he goes queen a3, and now I'm drawing again with the same bishop d1 idea. And that's what I play this time. And it's not just to clear the diagonal. I'm thinking I'm defending the knight, and I'm also allowing my queen to come over. So yeah, bishop b6 does defend the pawn, but it's not doing anything about queen e2. And now you can see the evaluation's actually gone up for me to 0.9. I'm not sure if I'm actually winning. Yeah, because if I knight d2. Yeah, I think this is actually still a perpetual. Yeah, okay, it is. But yeah, I go bishop c2, which is just as good as anything at this point. Again, my idea is maybe to kind of keep his pieces over here on the queen side, and then maybe I can sneak in over to h5. And he plays queen a2 here, and I actually, for a second, I thought I was totally lost, because I'm thinking, oh crap, I can't move this bishop, which is obviously not true because my knight is defending the queen. So I can actually play knight a1 here, and I can actually now use this mechanism to get a perpetual and draw. But again, bottom line here, I could simply take the bishop, which I do, and he actually takes the knight, and they're the same, but they're both drawn. But yeah, he takes the knight, and now I go bishop c2, continuing to defend this pawn. I'm defending the bishop, and again, I'm thinking I'm blocking the second rank, and I'm allowing my queen to come to e2 and into h5. So queen a2, queen e2 for me, and again I'm threatening this perpetual idea, and bishop a5, and with that, I mean I see that he wants to potentially come in and queen a1, you can maybe come to h1. Obviously queen e1 is going to be a threat, and so with that, I mean, I basically recognize that, yeah, he has too much counterplay. I'm thinking maybe eventually I could win this if I can really come in, but obviously he's got me under too much pressure. So I'm recognizing this is a draw, and obviously with the opposite colored bishops, this is a very easy draw. So I simply go bishop d1 to draw the game. expecting him to take, and, you know, it's a draw. But he goes queen b1, and amazingly now it's won for me. This is now winning, and at the time I didn't recognize that this is now totally winning. But the idea now is if he takes here, queen e8 check, queen g6 check, and so now, you know, the bishop would be mating if he came over, and so he has to go here, and eventually, you know, he can get himself in real trouble. Now he's getting mated. So yeah, I'm all of a sudden, because this bishop is freed up to come to a4, I can actually let this pawn hang, come into h5. So now I'm winning, and I think he obviously thought this was still a draw. And again, my whole plan is get myself freed up for h5 this whole time. So I do that, queen h5, and I'm totally winning. And I would have gone for, who knows what I would have gone for, but obviously the idea is simply to check here and win the pawns. And he's recognizing that he needs to stop that. Any check on the third rank, so queen b2, obviously I'm parrying with bishop b2, and I'm still freed up for this. And, if he's coming back, well, you get this, and then there's this little resource, and queen f3 now, and there's no checks. So, yeah, totally winning. So, yeah, he needed to find, here, coming back here, he needed to find some kind of move to deal with the threats. I'm not exactly sure. I'm assuming he mouse slipped on queen b2. I definitely would have played bishop e2. As we see, eventually I would have been winning. So I'm assuming this was a mouse slip, but maybe he was thinking he needed to come here and then hit d3, but yeah, he ended up hanging his queen. So I took it, and that was the game. So yeah, it was cool to beat a national master in Rapid after breaking 2000 in Blitz. It's felt good for my game. I'm sorry to my opponent. I know that's probably a frustrating way to lose when it was so clearly drawn up until that second to last move. The mouse slip, I was already winning, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed those analyses. Again, I'm trying to get back into things. I plan on doing some more Rapid videos, especially now that our dog's feeling a little better. So again, yeah, sorry I haven't posted in a while, but I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.